George, I'm Greg Srisavasti with Deepest Dream. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I really love the visual design for Elevation because you have some really good set pieces and you can actually divide those set pieces into chapters. What was the key in making sure that each of these chapters visually would actually be successful?
Well, you kind of hit on something, each of them being distinct, right? Uh, you, for me, I wanted each one to feel very, very different. So you start with that. You start with that when you're looking at the writing, how you're going to change it. Then you go and you find locations. You think, this one it's going to have, bright sunlight and be beautiful in some way. This one's going to be pitch black, and enclosed and claustrophobic, exact opposite of the ski lift one. This one is in a natural environment. This one is in a man-made environment, hospital scene and so forth. So you just start with that idea. I want each one to be different. And then you make every choice along the way to help with that. And in terms of the scene actually being successful and you being scared, and it is actually connected to the visual, is you got to care about the characters. And if you care about those characters and you care about what they're, that they might or might not survive, and you put the camera near them, with them, experiencing it with them, that brings the emotion into the action scene, visually brings the emotion in.
George, for you as a writer, when you read the screenplay, did it stand out that Elevation is not just a self-survival tale, it's sort of a survival to help other people kind of tale too? Was that
Yeah.
something that drew you to the story, the humanity behind it?
Yeah, I was really interested in something that I thought could be brought out of the script thematically, which is that your rationality, your brain, humans' brains have that's what is going to save them in the movie, but the collective brain of humanity, which has created all this civilization that's around us, and cures for cancer, and we can fly to the moon. Um, at the same time, also contains within it potentially the seeds of our own destruction. Whether that's nuclear weapons or climate change or AI, right? They're all things that, if you think about, what's going to look like 100 years from now, it could be dangerous, even though it was created by the rational brain that's probably going to solve that problem in the future.
Final question is years back, first time I saw Anthony Mackie in film, I said, wow, this guy is just a star. He's a leading man. I'll see him in any kind of movie. You know better than me with a decade kind of partnership, what works between your collaboration with him and what makes him so unique as far as being that collaborator?
Well, partly you just want to work with somebody who you have a shorthand with and you have a friendship with, because the shit hits the fan regularly on a movie set. You're trying to do something and the line producer comes to you and says, "We don't have the piece of equipment we need," or "It's going to rain in an hour," or whatever. And you have to adapt, and you have to be able to sit down with a cool head and say, "Well, what if we did it this way?" So that's like really, really important working with Mackie. And he's got he brings you in. You care about him. You care his voice, his face, the way he says and does things. In a way that I think is really awesome. So we're gonna do a lot more. We're talking downstairs about what's the fourth one gonna be. So
Oh, that's amazing. George, thank you so much for your time. I really love your film.
thank you, Greg. Please spread the word.